Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday evening, May 21st, 2023. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. And another week has passed, and it seems like these weeks are just flying by faster and faster. And I'd like to welcome everyone to the show tonight. This will be my weekly update that I'll be putting on YouTube, where we'll look at climate-related items around the planet, methane data from NOAA and CAMS, and earthquakes and sea ice, and just kind of get an overview of what's going on as we are living in the middle of climate collapse and collapse of society and pretty much the whole planetary system, it seems like. So buckle up and just, stay strong. Whatever happens, just stay strong and stay prayed up, and find your strength in God and Jesus and not in man. And I think that's the best way to get through what we've got to get through. So we're going to start out here on Climate Reanalyzer, and thankfully I'm starting my recording quite a bit earlier tonight, so that's a good thing. So here we are today with maximum temperatures around the planet. We can see the Arctic is heating up. See the greens? That's above freezing, moving up into like 5 degrees Celsius in these light greens, and higher in the darker greens. And it's been warmer than normal on this whole west side from Canada down on this west side of the U.S. And here in the Reno area, let's see, it got up to 85 today. We had a short thunderstorm burst with some hail earlier this afternoon, and then it cleared off, and it's pleasant, and we got up at I think around 90 Friday and Saturday, and so summer's here. We went from winter to summer basically. And here's the flat view of the planet. See these whites coming across Africa and Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, and India's just filled up with the whites, and you've got whites scattered around in southern Asia, and the whites denote 40 degrees C temperature or higher, or about 104 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. And you got whites across Papua New Guinea too there. And I'm okay. My voice is just a little hoarse here. And here's 2-meter temperature anomaly, and see the browns over the area where the greens were in the temperatures. So this is warmer than normal, and see it comes all the way down through Canada and the US on this west side. Then the blues right next to it, and then on the east side of the Arctic region, from about the North Pole all the way east. It's in the browns and then dark brown, and this dark brown is about 10 to 14 degrees C higher than normal from Norway all the way across through a lot of Russia. Here's the flat view. See the browns and moving into the reddish brown in Russia. This area is also, it's got a lot of methane right here, and there are a bunch of fires in this area. And the fires have already started in Russia and Canada. Okay, here's our overview for the world. Worldwide, we're up 0.45 C higher than normal. The northern hemisphere is up 0.62 C. The Arctic is up 1.51 C. The Antarctic is down 1.46 C. The southern hemisphere is up 0.28 C. And the tropics are up 0.59 C. So we've got some lower readings here, especially in the tropics and southern hemisphere, but it's higher in the Arctic region. Here's precipitation and clouds, and we've got rain along this Norway coastline, and we've had rain around, well, and there's rain at Iceland today too, but we've had rain at Iceland and around the southern part of Greenland this week, and I'm a little bit disappointed with National Snow and Ice Data Center. They finally started putting up the Greenland melting data, and then they haven't had anything up since the 16th, so there's nothing new to report there, except I know it's melting because I've been seeing the rain come up to the coastline at Greenland there. And so with the like the humidity and the water vapor, you know, with the rain coming up, that's going to melt that ice sheet, even if it's just around the edge. And here's this big another atmospheric river coming off of the US and Canada, and then that'll be the next one going across the Atlantic. Here's the flat view. And here's the Pacific view. And then here are the jet pieces. There's no stream anymore. We've got hairpin turns, and looks like driving in the mountains there. And we've got this high pressure dome kind of camped out over the western part of the US. And see, look at the split in the jet stream, or these pieces. See, here's this one that goes way up high, and then this one goes across Africa, and then this looks like layers of ocean waves in the southern hemisphere it's broken up so much. Here's the Pacific view, and see it's switching from see the southern loop and the northern loop. They meet right here at the equator, right in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So nothing's normal anymore. Here's sea ice and snow cover, and it is melting up here. You can see a lot of melting has taken place in the Bering Sea, and the Bering Strait is clear of ice now. And see the dark areas over the ice. This is where it's thinning out, and holes are starting to form in the ice, and it's melting around the edges now too. Also here in the Hudson Bay you can see melting, and in the North Baffin Bay there's a big hole. Here's sea surface temperature anomaly. This is for yesterday, and we've had browns all winter long up here in the Barents Sea and the North Atlantic, and we still have browns. We've got some blues next to it. I'm thinking because of the melting sea ice, it's causing a little bit colder than normal water along there. Here in the Baltic Sea, we've got browns moving into reds already, and we've got some blues around the coast of North America, interspersed with some warmer than normal. But the Gulf of Mexico is heating up. See, that's more brown. And around on the west side of Mexico, see, and also on the coast of North America, see, that's all brown now. And remember how this was blue, and there was quite a space out from the coast that was still in the blue range, colder than normal, but not anymore. And so I think this is El Nino coming in. Here's the Atlantic view, and we can see almost all of it's in some shade of brown here. And here, this is in the Arabian Sea. That's almost an evil eye forming there, turning really dark brown. This Indian Ocean is almost all brown now. Here's the Pacific view, and here's Japan. And you can see between Japan and the mainland, it's still brown, moving into reds. We can see browns up here in the Bering Sea. Browns all the way across the North Pacific, and all the way across from the equator down as well. And here's this hot spot still on the coast of South America. We've got browns all the way around New Zealand. So there's that. Now we'll move on to methane. We're starting with the NOAA methane data for yesterday, the 20th. Met-Op-B satellite in the morning, 1,000 millibar level. The mean or average was 1,839 parts per billion. The high reading was 2,064. In the afternoon, the mean was 1,836. The high reading was 2,094. On the Met-Op-C satellite in the morning, the mean was 1,843. The high reading was 2,085. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1,844, and the high reading was 2,111. Here's our weekly chart for 1,000 millibar level, and the 20th averaged out to be 1840.50 parts per billion, and that's a decrease this week of 3.25. And here's where it went down. 3.25 this week. Now, in our show last week, it had gone up 2.5. So we lost all of that and went all the way back down. So let's see what happened this week. Here's where we ended last week at 1843.75 on the 13th, and the 14th went down 1.25, 15th down 1.0, 16th down 0.5, 17th down 0.5, 18th up 1.0, 19th down 0.25, and 20th down 0.75, giving us an overall decrease of 3.25 this week. So we only had one day where it went up, and then all the other days it went down. So we're in the season now where we should start seeing methane going up. Now, this is the first time I've tracked the 1,000 millibar level, you know, when they switched the model at the end of October last year. And so I had to start over on my tracking, and so now I'm tracking 1,000 millibar and 487 millibar, and so I really don't know what to expect as far as trends on 1,000 millibar, but I know what to expect on trends at 500 and 480, you know, around the 487, 500 millibar, because I was tracking close to that for 4 years, 3 years, what was it, 3 years before, and so it should be going up on 487. Okay. Now we'll move to the 487 millibar level, back to the Met-Op-B satellite in the morning. The mean was 1908. The high reading was 2364. In the afternoon, the mean was 1908. The high reading was 2365. On the Met-Op-C satellite in the morning, the mean was 1882. The The high reading was 2257. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1881, and the high reading was 2216. Okay, here's our weekly chart for 487 millibar. And the 20th averaged out to be 1894.75. And that was a decrease of 1.0. And so we've got 3 weeks in a row where it's gone down a little bit. And then the week before that, there was no change. And then, so the last time we had an increase for the week was the week of April 22nd, where it zipped up here 2.0. So let's see what happened here this week. So we ended last week at 1895.75. Then the 14th went down 0.25. 15th up 1.0. 16th up 1.0. 17th down 0.75. 18th down 0.75. 19th up 0.25. And 20th down 1.5, giving us an overall decrease this week of 1.0. So we had a little more stair-stepping here this week than on the other one. So I wanted to just show the trends. See, this was from my old tracking. And it started on March the 1st of 2019, where we started with this. And then here's where this model ended. And then it switched to the heat model and has different choices for millibars, so I had to change my tracking. And here, so you could see the trends were going up starting in January of each year. And so, like last year, just for instance, if we go back to last year, 2022, let's see, it bottomed out in that winter, January 14th of 2022. That was our lowest. Then it started gradually going up. Now we had some weeks where it was going down, but like look at this week, February 12th, where it went up 5.0. And here, February 26th, it went up 3.5. So it was going up. And this was the 469 to 477 millibar. So a little higher up in the atmosphere than the 487. But not that much different. And at this point, we only had one satellite reading, and now we've got 2 satellite readings, so two for each satellite, so we get four data sets to average out instead of 2. So it's just hard to compare anything. But we've gone up. Like for instance, here, like on the week of like the 22nd. Wait, I'm on the wrong year. Hang on. Wanted to see how much it had gone up. Here on the 21st, it was 1922.5. And it had bottomed out at 1909. So let's see how much change that was. Equals, let's see, that minus the low. It had already gone up 13.5. By this time last year. And we haven't seen that. Well, here was our low. Our low was 1885. 1880. So it's gone up. It's gone up not quite 10 points. But the rise started, it went up the most, let's see, here in March. So we're a little bit behind, and then it's kind of just done this kind of holding pattern since this reading here at the end of March. So we'll just have to write it out, see what happens. And remember, we're in uncharted territory now. So there's that. Okay, now we'll go over the CAMS methane data. This is Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Service out of the EU. Methane forecast. And here are base time and valid time are both for Saturday, May 20th. We're starting with the Arctic area and surface level. So the data is for Saturday, and the forecast period is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we've got from Norway over to Russia coming back to life, especially Finland area, and this interior just south of Norilsk, that area is heavy methane. I think there's a bunch of fires burning there. And we're starting to see it pop up different places coming across. Here's Koktovik, southern Alaska as well. We're starting to see higher readings as things are heating up down there. North Dakota, also in the tar sands region of Canada. Look here, just south of the Hudson Bay. And Canada and Russia have already started having big wildfires already. And here in the U.S., that's not looking good. That's this area in the upper Midwest over. Look at that, just one big blob. Texas, look at that. Okay, now we'll go to the North Pole view. The UK is filled up. See, it's streaming. It's streaming over the Atlantic there. Here's the Persian Gulf, India, China. We've got this high reading off the coast of Japan. Japan has been super high this week, and there's an area that we're in total column is in one of the higher ranges just here off the coast of Japan. And then total, we'll look at the global view. Look at this higher reading here in the Indian Ocean. See, that's up into the 1860 reading right here. That's 1860 parts per billion. The one lower than that is 1840. Then this navy blue is 1820 parts per billion. So very little navy blue, although it's kind of popping back up with methane going down a tiny bit, but I think that's temporary. I think it's going to be heading up now. You can barely see it here at the Brunt ice shelf. It changes to the next color up, more aqua. Okay, and then we'll take a peek at 500 HPA. And we can see lower readings now coming in across the Arctic. This dark is breaking up and redistributing as it goes into the summer season or late spring. Now, everything redistributes. And then total column. And we can still see this heavy reading just east of Japan. It was worse. It's starting to dissipate a little bit, but also Japan is heavy, Philippines, China, India, and so on. And we'll go over these other CAMS things. This is sulfur dioxide today. We've got high reading here in Mexico. This is from the volcanoes there. This is kind of hanging around in the South Pacific. We had a release here. I'm thinking it was plate movement, and it started before all those earthquakes in the Southeast Loyalty Islands. We've had massive earthquakes. They're large, massive earthquakes. Had a 7.7, 7.1, and then lots of big earthquakes. And that's right up here, and so I'm thinking that this is from plate movement, where like the plates were moving a little bit and a pocket of sulfur dioxide escaped. We also have this high reading over Central Africa. This is in the Congo and Rwanda region. Not sure what this is from. It could be now this is a volcanic area. Could be that. And also a little bit higher here at Kamchatka. That's volcanoes too. And here it is at 500 HPA. So the highest readings that shot up in the atmosphere are here at Mexico and here in Africa. And then here is ozone. This is the thin ozone layer over the Antarctic. We can see the South Pole is now right under an aqua color, which is quite thin. The next color down will go into the danger zone. And we had some danger zone ozone holes open up this week up here next to South America. Just up there. But see the aqua down here too, and over the Ross Sea. So it's quite thin. Here's the Arctic ozone, Arctic view, and we can see that thick stuff has pretty much dissipated. We've got some here over Canada, and we've got thinning here on Western Canada, and see the greenish tinges across from the whole southern area of the U.S., Mexico, over to the west coast. Here's the global view. It's still remaining quite thin above and below these equatorial regions. Okay, I'll go ahead and show the earthquake pictures that I took for today. And we've got 306 worldwide in the last 24 hours. And so here at the not Solomon Islands, I keep saying that, the Loyalty Islands, southeast of the Loyalty Islands was where the big earthquakes were. And we've got plate movement. You can see it here around this Antarctic plate line that goes all around the bottom part. And see all these earthquakes on this red line. This would be a 5 just below Australia. We've got 2 here south of Africa. This was a 6 something and a 5 there. And yesterday there was movement at South Sandwich Islands and the Drake Passage. We had this is Solomon Islands, 6 something there today. And look at all this movement on all these lines. 4s all the way across, 5 here at Japan. We had a 5 on the Juan de Fuca plate today. And so we'll go over those in a minute. Here, just south of Africa, here are these 2, 6.8 and 5.1 at the Prince Edward Islands region. And this is this 6.1 was on land at the Solomon Islands. This island is Makira. This was on land. No doubt it caused damage. No doubt. And then here's the Juan de Fuca plate. This is the bottom of it. Here's Northern California. And this was a 5.5 right on the bottom edge of the Juan de Fuca plate. This came in today at 11:44 this morning Pacific time. And then just this is the Nevada-California border at Big Pine area. There were 74 here, so this area is swarming. And this is new today, and the largest so far has been this 4.3, and this came in last night at 8:26 p.m. 5.1 kilometers deep. And so this area is just swarming. So we've got to watch all that. And that's all of those. Okay, now we'll move on to sea ice. We're starting with the U.S. Navy Arctic sea ice model here. This is Arctic sea ice thickness. Here's your color ledger on the right. Goes from backwards in the rainbow, from thinnest to thickest, up to this dark red of being 5 meters thick. And very, very little of that do we have. The majority of it is some shade of aqua, whether it's dark aqua, which is 1.5 meters thick, up to the bright aqua, which is 2 to 2.5 meters thick. And then the purples, once you get into the blues and purples, it's thinning on down. The green is 3 meters thick. So let's zoom in. And here we can see it's really melting down in this Sea of O coast. Also here in the Bering Sea, see the white, that's virtually, where it's white, it's virtually no ice. Here's the Bering Strait. There's a little wisp of ice right in there. Here's this hole in the Amundsen Bay. I think that's that area. And you see these tributaries are starting to thin down a little bit. Here's a hole in one of them. Here's this big hole in the North Baffin Bay, and this is thinning down. And you can see the hole here and then holes in the Hudson Bay, and that's thinning down. And then in this Gulf area, I don't know the name of that. And then this Canadian coastline is melting down. And still have some fringe ice out here in the North Bering Sea. Here, by Novaya Zemlya, see the ice is pulled away. As this coastline is open, about halfway up. And then here in the Laptev Sea, this coastline is open next to the Timur Peninsula. And then here's another hole opening up. And then this is New Siberian Islands region. There's a big hole that's opened up here. And the thinning, see, this has gone down into dark aqua and moving into the navy blue. So this Laptev Sea is thinning out faster than everything else, it looks like. And thinning here in the Chukchi Sea and Beaufort Sea along here. And right along the coastline of Canada and Greenland is where you'll find little thin area, you know, of the thicker ice. Just a little area. And then the green, which is 3 meters thick. And even the bright aqua, there's not much of that. It's moving into darker aqua pretty fast. Here's the 30-day animation, and this was updated to today. So the data goes back 3 weeks, and the forecast period goes out to next Sunday. So let's see. Let's look down here first. We'll watch it. The Hudson Bay and this Baffin Bay and these tributaries. Yeah, so that's clearing out. And then moving up here. Let's look here in the Bering Sea. This is in high melt. And the Sea of O coast too. that's in high melt. Look at, watch the ice here. So it's being pushed down. That's the ice drift pushing it down towards the little islands there, and it breaks up when it comes up. See, it breaks up. Look how this laptef sea is thinning down. And this Kara Sea. And in the forecast period, you're seeing the ice edge really starting to retreat now, here in this North Barents Sea especially. And watch it thinning. Look at that. I'm going to stop it. Here we are at the end of the model. Look at the darker aqua coming in up to the North Pole there. So this is going down really fast, this whole area. Okay, here's the Beaufort sea ice thickness. Here's Canada on the right. Here's our thickest ice, the 5 meters thick, right along there. Then a little fringe of yellow, and then here's the green, 3 meters thick. And it seems like, I don't know how this is still thickening with the warmer air that's over it now. I'm thinking it's going to be starting to really melt now. But see, it's thinning here in the Chukchi Sea. And here's the 30-day animation. And this was updated to today, so the forecast goes out to Sunday. See, it's moving more into the green here. It could just be the ice is kind of piling up together there because the ice drift. Watch it go darker. Let's see, it started. Okay, here's the Antarctic, and it's on the refreeze. It's struggling. This west side of the Western Peninsula, that refreeze is just not happening there. And it's still low here in the Weddell Sea as well. Got a little thickening going on here in the Ross Sea. And not much regrowth on the extent. And here's the 30-day animation. And again, the forecast goes out to next Sunday. So just slowly trying. And now National Snow and Ice Data Center. This is Arctic sea ice concentration as of yesterday. Wherever you see the blues, that's where it's melting. And the darker the blue, the thinner it is, and the more holes it might have as this is coming apart. And so we've got a big change here. See all the blue here from Siberia all the way across, and here in the Beaufort Sea, also this Bering Sea and Bering Strait, Laptev Sea, and so on. And here's the melting. This is the measurement of the extent. Here's this year, and here's our blue line this year. We're still under 2012, and here's the median. And so right now it's running kind of parallel with the median. And here's the Antarctic. See, it's low. You see the brown line is the median. So it's really a lot less here in the Weddell Sea and on this west side. And here's the refreeze extent. And this is pathetic looking. Here's this year. See, it was kind of almost parallel with the median, and now it's angled a little bit down. Last year, here was the refreeze. And we hit record lows this year and last year. So that's not looking good either. So there's that. Now let's move on to NASA Worldview and see what we can see here in the Arctic. And this is sea ice concentration, where you see the reds. That's where it's melting, and some of these you're even starting to see yellows and greens, and that's where holes have already opened up. Like, or if it's black, then that's definitely a hole, or just open. See, so that's coming on down there. Look at the Hudson Bay. Here's the Beaufort Sea. Here's a hole. Look at this. This is that's still part of the Beaufort Sea. There's the Bering Strait. Here's a hole. And here, and look, see, there's a hole. This is the East Siberian Sea, and see, it's opening up around the coastline there. And also here in the Laptev Sea. And see, Kerosene, and so on. And where you see the pinks, you'll see that's where there are cracks in the ice. It's coming apart. Alright, now let's go in with our satellite view, see what we can see. We're going to start here at Greenland. Let's look here at this north edge. So here's the sea ice, and see, there's already holes, like that's open water there. See the dark, all of where it's dark, it's open water. As these leads, a lot of these leads have already melted. See, like here. So here's, see, that's breaking up there. Here's a cloud or something. Look at this. Look at that. That's a huge area. Big crack there. Already opened up. Alright, here's the Lincoln Sea. Look at these cracks. I don't remember seeing cracks up here this early in the season. Look, that's clearing out. There's the sea ice. See? So we're looking through clouds and probably camouflage. Here's yesterday. Look at all that. Here's the nearest strait. So we're on yesterday right now. There are the cracks. Here's today. And so, wow, look at all this open water. This is this whole north end of the Baffin Bay. Look at that. Some of this is clouds. I think most of it's clouds. Yeah, look at yesterday. Open. Look at this. Wow, look at that. Here's the Baffin Bay. See. Here's Greenland. Let's see if we can see anything here. So here's the ice around the edge there. And coming up. Okay, here's Svalbard. Look at that. So here's this east edge of the ice. Here's Franz Josef Land. Here's the ice. Here's Novaya Zemlya. And so this is open. This is the Barents Sea. See, all that's open. Here's the Kara Sea. And see, the ice is away from the coastline there. See, it's melted and pulled away. See, that's coming apart fast. Here's the Yamal Peninsula. Okay, here's Severnaya Zemlya. Here's Komsomolets. And then this is the Laptev Sea. This is a hole. That's a hole right there. See? We're looking through a cloud there, but this is open water here. Oops, too far. Look at this. Open here. Here's the Laptev Sea. There's Taimyr Peninsula. And see, it's opening up down here too. And around here. Here's New Siberian Islands. Here's this area that's all opened up. See, it goes all along that crack. There is a little ice shelf right along the coast. See, and so the sea ice has melted away or broken away from that ice shelf now. See, here's what it looks like. Okay, let's go back to today. Coming around. There's Wrangel Island. Okay, here's the Bering Strait. Look at this. See, just this little bit of sea ice left right there. But this is open. I mean, ships, no problem going through there. Here's the Chukchi Sea. See, that's coming apart. Here's Alaska. here's Barrow. So here's the Beaufort Sea. You can see open water there. Here's this gulf, or bay, whatever you call it. Look at that gulf. Yeah, a Munson Gulf. Look at all this open. And back to today. Okay, you could look at that. Look how that's already melted. Huge melting going on. And this is where some of the thickest sea ice is, well, along the coastline here. Look at that. Here's Ellesmere Island. And we're back to where we started from. Let's see what we can see on the interior. Look at these cracks. There's the North Pole. So I think that's about all we can see on this today. Now let's go to the earthquake website. Here's USGS. We've got 300 earthquakes worldwide right now. Look at all of this. So I want to go 7 days, all magnitudes. So in the last week, there were 2,130. That's what we're showing. And we had some Arctic earthquakes. We had 2 just off the coast of what is this? 3 off the coast of Greenland. This was on the 15th, all 3 of these. 4.3, 4.2, and 5.3 was the largest. And then there was one at Svalbard, 4.9. That was on the 17th, just east of that little foot there. And Here's South Sandwich Islands, 4 down here, 2 5s and 2 4s range. Here's this Drake Passage area, 5.0 and 4.6. Here's some on this west coast of South America. 5.1 Chile was the largest. I want to get to here. There were 65 here. This is where those big ones were, all stacked up southeast of the Loyalty Islands. And it started on the 18th with this 7.7. And see, this is right next to the Pacific Plate line. 7.7 on the 18th. Then we had 5s, almost all 5s, then some 4s and 5s. And that's still, and then it's into the 19th. And then another big one, 7.1 on the 19th. And then a 6.5 on the 19th. And then back to 4s and 5s. And so the last one was on the 20th, and it was a 5.1 that came in at 3:08 yesterday at specific time. So maybe this is stopped, I don't know. But it shook things up for sure. For sure. And then here's this 6.1. See, on land. That was today, 8:45 this morning, Pacific time. And see, lots of movement all around. Let's go. Let's go. Where are we going? Oh yeah, 6.4 at Guatemala this week on the 17th near Canilla. 252 kilometers deep. 5.0 Mexico there. Look at all of these dotted around across the U.S. Here's one in Canada. So we're seeing more in areas that we normally don't see them. Also, the Colorado-New Mexico border, and here in New Mexico, 3.8, San Mateo. So here, on this Juan de Fuca plate, see, here's the one I just showed y'all, 5.5. We also had a 3.0 on the 16th, 2.8 on the 17th. And we also had a lot of activity here at Lake Almanor. Now, Lake Almanor is a man-made reservoir in Northern California. It's part of the dam system, and it has a dam here in the bottom part of, right down here on the southeast edge, and this connects up with the Feather River and feeds into the Oroville Reservoir. So if this broke, it would cause major problems down the road for everything connected to that. There were 31 here this week. The majority of them were in the lake. Some of them were at a negative depth. A lot of them were very shallow. And I think this had started last week? Yeah, this had started last week, and so it continued this week as well. Mainly twos and ones. These were all twos and ones. Here's a 3.7, a little bit bigger one. And the last one here was on the 20th, a 2.5 at 0.6 kilometer depth. So that was yesterday. Then we've had movement around Pyramid Lake and also way up into northern Nevada. Like right here, there's 17 here this week. Some in the lake and then west and then moving up. There's a mountain pass right here that goes into Smoke Creek Desert. There was one here in the desert of 1.0. And then here's this swarm. So there are 80 here this week. Most of them in the last 24 hours. This already showed y'all that at Silver Peak and Lone Pine. And then Cyril's Valley Ridgecrest, 44 here. The largest, can't remember, was a 2.7, yeah. And so on. So it's been busy. Been a busy week. And see all these all along the San Andreas fault line here. Here's the geysers. And so on. So that's my report for tonight. And then I like to bring it back to a spiritual perspective, because when you talk about the end, collapse and everything, the Bible talks about it too, but I think all the Bible relates together, and by understanding the Old Testament, it lays the foundation for everything that happens in the New Testament too. So anyway, we're making our way through the book of Job, and Job was a holy man, and he was stricken. God allowed Satan to test him, to test his faith, and to see if he would condemn God and turn his back on God, and he never did. Job never lost his faith in God. And so, that can happen. We can be tested. In fact, we are tested all the time. So, we have to remember that, God does have our back. And if we don't lose our faith in Him, at least we know that our soul will be saved. Job chapter 32. So these 3 men ceased to answer Job, because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then was kindled the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite, of the kindred of Ram. Against Job was his wrath kindled, because he justified himself rather than God. Also against his 3 friends was his wrath kindled, because they had found no answer, and yet had condemned Job. Now Elihu had waited till Job had spoken, because they were elder than he. When Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these 3 men, then his wrath was kindled. And Elihu the son of Barachel, the Buzite, answered and said, I am young, and ye are very old. Wherefore I was afraid, and durst not shew you mine opinion. I said, Days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. But there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. Therefore I said, Hearken to me, I also will shew mine opinion. Behold, I waited for your words, I gave ear to your reasons, whilst ye searched out what to say. Yea, I attended unto you, and behold, there was none of you that convinced Job, or that answered his words, lest ye should say, We have found out wisdom. God thrusteth him down, not man. Now he hath not directed his words against me, neither will I answer him with your speeches. They were amazed, they answered no more, they left off speaking. When I had waited, for they spake not, but stood still, and answered no more, I said, I will answer also my part. I also will shew mine opinion, for I am full of matter, the spirit within me constraineth me. Behold, my belly is as wine, which hath no vent. It is ready to burst like new bottles. I will speak, that I may be refreshed. I will open my lips and answer. Let me not, I pray you, accept any man's person, neither let me give flattering titles unto men. for I know not to give flattering titles. In so doing, my Maker would soon take me away. Job chapter 32. So we need to just have faith in God and Jesus. If you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, I recommend it. In these dark times, dark days that we are in, and it's getting darker, the only salvation and the only hope of our eternal salvation will be through Jesus and God. That's the only hope. So, I love you all, and I'll be praying for you. I hope everyone has as good a week as possible, and Lord willing, I'll be here next Sunday if we're still here, and if everything holds up, and we'll do another weekly update. So God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Good night.